When we talk about creativity, it's easy to picture, well, artists, right? Painters, musicians.
The sort of traditional view, like it's this special thing only some people have.
Exactly. But what if? What if that's missing the point? What if creativity is, I don't know, more about how you actually live your life?
Well, that's really the core idea in the source we're digging into today. We're looking at the creative act,
Yeah.
a way of being.
Right.
And it really pushes back on that narrow definition. It suggests creativity is much more fundamental. It's about existence itself.
So our goal here is to sort of unpack that, to explore how this source sees creativity not as a skill you learn, but as something that's just part of being human.
Yeah, inherent in all of us. You know, how you see things, how you filter the world, how you just are.
It sounds like an invitation almost to maybe see that creator that's already inside you.
Definitely. And that brings us straight to this idea the source puts forward, the universal creator.
Oh.
It makes this really profound point, I think. Whether or not you formally make art, you know, painting, writing, whatever the argument is, you are already living like an artist.
Okay, hold on. How does that work? We're all artists just by, breathing. Help me understand that.
Well, think about just being alive, right? You're constantly perceiving things. You take in the world around you,
Sure.
but you filter it. Through your own consciousness, your experiences, you're gathering information, data, and then you're kind of curating your internal reality based on that.
So the world out there, it's not just passively received.
According to this source, no. It suggests the reality you perceive is actively generated inside you. It mentions, you know, electrical and chemical reactions shaping that experience.
Wow. Okay. So my experience of reality is something I'm composing. Like I'm an active participant just by being aware.
That's the idea. You're creating your experience moment by moment. So living as an artist in this view isn't about the painting on the wall.
It's how you got there or how you see the wall.
Yeah, exactly. It's described as a way of being in the world, a way of perceiving, even just a practice of paying attention.
That really shifts things, doesn't it? It's not about a job title. It's about engagement, how you listen, how you notice things.
Which leads us right into one of the key insights. This idea of creating from presence and awareness.
Ah, right. Awareness.
This ability to notice, to engage, it's built on awareness.
And the way the source talks about awareness is interesting. It's not something you force, is it? It's more like something you actively allow to happen.
It's described as a presence with and acceptance of what is happening in the eternal now, just being with what is.
Okay. And there was something about detached noticing.
Yes, detached noticing, that ability to just observe the world, your thoughts, feelings, without slapping a label on it instantly, without judging or analyzing right away.
Right. Analysis comes later.
Exactly. The connection, that pure noticing, that comes first. Like just seeing the rain.
Without thinking, oh, great, my plans are ruined, or the garden needs this. Just rain.
That's it. And the source uses this great metaphor of being like an antenna.
An antenna.
Yeah, for creative thought. Like we're constantly picking up these subtle signals, these notes from the universe. And they're described as energetic more than tactile, intuitively perceived more than consciously recorded.
So if we're distracted or full of static, full of judgment,
we miss the signal. Our antenna isn't tuned in properly.
So how do you improve the reception? How do you tune that antenna?
Well, the source says cultivating awareness builds the musculature of our psyche. It's like a muscle.
You have to exercise it.
You do. The more you practice just being present, the better you get at tuning in.
Yeah.
But, you know, like any muscle, you've got to keep at it. Awareness needs refreshing, constant practice.
Okay, so you work on awareness, but then there's that other big thing that trips people up, the fear, right? The worry that whatever you do, it just won't be good enough.
Oh, absolutely. That pursuit of perfection, it can be paralyzing.
Which brings us to another really important insight from the source, embracing imperfection.
Yes. And it's stated so clearly. The work is not about perfection.
Yeah.
Period.
That feels radical almost.
It is, especially when you hear the next part. The source suggests that the very things you might see as flaws, the imperfections you want to fix, they might prove to be what make the work great.
Whoa.
It completely flips the script. And it even says we rarely actually know why something works, why it's great, that why is beyond our comprehension.
That's incredibly freeing, isn't it? It takes the pressure off having to create some perfect, pre-planned thing.
Right. Your job isn't flawless execution. Maybe it's just engaging with the process, seeing what comes out, bumps and all.
So what if you're stuck frozen by that need for it to be perfect. What
Yeah.
does the source suggest?
A really practical strategy, lowering the stakes.
Lowering the stakes. How?
Instead of seeing your project or even just like writing an important email as this huge defining thing,
Yeah.
think of it as a small work, a beginning, just a first step.
Like a sketch, not the final masterpiece.
Exactly. That simple mental shift gives you permission to play, explore, and test without attachment to results. Just mess around.
Okay. And there's an important distinction made too, isn't there? About doubt.
Yes, crucial.
Mm.
Doubting the quality of the work that can actually be useful, it can lead you to make it better.
Right.
But doubting yourself, believing you are fundamentally flawed or incapable, that just leads to hopelessness. So critique the thing, not your core ability to try.
So if you can embrace that imperfection, lower the stakes, let yourself play, it feels like that opens the door to something else, like a different kind of knowing.
Perfectly put.
Right.
That leads directly to the third insight we wanted to explore, trusting intuition and inner knowing.
Right. Beyond just logic.
Exactly. This builds on that antenna idea. It's about listening not just to the subtle signals out there, but also to the information that's broadcasting from inside you.
And learning to trust that more than, say, what everyone else tells you you should do.
Or even more than those loud, critical voices in your own head, right? The source calls them the undermining voices.
Yeah, those are loud sometimes.
They can be. And accessing this deeper intuitive energy,
Mm-hmm.
the source says it operates on faith.
Faith.
Meaning you have to sort of believe and behave as if it's true,
Mm.
even without hard logical proof. You act on that inner nudge just because it feels right.
Have you ever had that? Like, you're working on something and suddenly you just know the next step, but you couldn't explain why.
All the time. The source mentions things like noticing apparent coincidences or feeling an inner knowing, gently informing your movements. It's not calculated, it just guides you.
Yeah.
And there's this beautiful concept the source uses as a kind of inner compass for this. The ecstatic.
The ecstatic. That sounds intense.
It's not necessarily like jumping up and down ecstatic.
Yeah.
It's described as more visceral, a body feeling, a spontaneous feeling of joy, awe, or elation, maybe a deep sense of harmony and fulfillment that just arises while you're doing something.
So it's that feeling when things just click, or you surprise yourself, or something feels suddenly right and resonant deep down.
Yeah. Precisely.
Mhm.
It's not your brain saying good job. It's your whole being signaling, yes, this way. You're connected. It tells you you're on the right track.
And to feel that, you need to be listening, right? Which ties back to awareness.
Absolutely. And the source connects it beautifully. Listening is suspending disbelief.
Suspending disbelief.
Yeah, it means taking in information from the world, from your gut, from whatever you're working on, without immediately judging it or planning your response.
Okay.
Just receiving it openly.
Letting it land before you react.
Exactly. When you listen like that, without prejudice, you might see things you'd otherwise miss, catch guidance you weren't expecting.
So putting it all together, this presence, embracing imperfection, trusting intuition, it sounds like this way of being the source talks about really is for everyone. It's not some exclusive club.
Not at all. It's fundamental to being human. It's already part of your operating system, you could say.
But it takes practice. It's not automatic necessarily.
Definitely. The source is very clear. Living life as an artist is a practice. You are either engaging in the practice or you're not. It's about the ongoing engagement, not reaching some final destination called creative.
And the practice isn't necessarily sitting down to paint, right? It mentions simpler things.
Oh, yeah. Things like mindful breathing, just paying attention to your breath. Or mindful eating, really noticing your food. Taking a walk in nature and just observing.
So those aren't separate from creativity.
No, they support it. They build that muscle of awareness, that ability to tune in we talked about earlier. They help you perceive the world more richly, which is the foundation.
So these insights, presence, imperfection, intuition, they aren't just abstract ideas. They're like tools you can use to navigate your life, see things differently.
Exactly. To enrich your own experience right where you are, and maybe let your unique way of seeing things come through, whatever that looks like for you.
Yeah, it's not about becoming famous or producing masterpieces.
Not necessarily. It's more about living a life that feels more engaged, maybe, more aware, more fulfilled, recognizing you're already part of this creative process of the world.
And allowing yourself to connect with that, letting that connection, maybe with something bigger than just your day-to-day worries, kind of influence how you see and act. gift.
The source suggests the universe is constantly offering these little whispers, this inspiration and guidance. We just need to be open enough to hear them.
So the big takeaway from our conversation today, really drawing from this source, is that creativity, it's not this separate thing. It's woven right into you. It's a way of seeing, a way of being.
And things like cultivating presence, letting go of perfectionism, trusting your gut. They're not rules, they're just pointers. Gentle guides to help you tap into that creative expression that's already there.
The universe doesn't explain itself, does it? As the source says, it just is, full of potential.
And our part is just to engage with that potential, which leads to a final thought, perhaps an invitation for you listening.
Yeah, let's end with that. An invitation for you, right now, today. Make one small creative act.
Doesn't have to be big.
Not at all. Doesn't need anyone to see it or approve of it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a moment of really noticing something you usually rush past.
Or allowing yourself to feel something subtle without immediately judging it.
Or just expressing something, anything that feels uniquely you in that moment. A word, a gesture, humming a tune, however small.
See what happens. Just allow it to be. Remember, it's just a practice.
You're either engaging in the practice or you're not. Give it a try.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.